Welcome to the Great Basin Winter and Fire Potential Outlook for February through May 2016. This is Gina McGuire. In this webcast, we will discuss recent weather across the Great Basin, the current and expected impacts from El Nino, and the February through May weather and fire potential forecast for the area. Over the last month, in January, we saw temperatures that were below normal over much of the eastern and southern half of Nevada and Utah and up into parts of Idaho, with near or just above normal temperatures over western and northern areas of the Great Basin. Similar to where we saw these cooler temperatures is where we saw the most significant impacts for precipitation, with precipitation over the eastern half of Nevada into the western half of Utah was well above normal, or 200 to 300% of normal for the month of January. Also over the central and northern portion of the Sierra Nevada mountains, we saw well above normal precipitation, along with parts of Idaho into southwest Wyoming. If we look back to October 1st, 2015, which is the start of the water year, we do see quite a bit of precipitation in the west, and most areas of Nevada into Utah and Idaho are seeing near or significantly above normal precipitation for the last few months. The only parts that are seeing below normal precipitation are parts of the far southern area of the Arizona Strip and over parts of north central Utah, the Uinta Basin, and southwest Wyoming. If we look at the snowpack, we see a very healthy snowpack across all of the Great Basin. However, over the southern half of Utah, Nevada, and the Sierra into southwest Idaho is where we're seeing snowpack above 140% of normal. Further north and east, snowpack is approaching or closer to normal. If we look at the current drought conditions, this precipitation has helped the drought across the area, but it will take at least another year of good precipitation to really eliminate the drought over the western half of the Great Basin. However, again, we have seen improvements, still seeing extreme to exceptional drought in the Sierra and over the western half of Nevada. However, again, we've seen those improvements further east, with now most areas seeing either abnormally dry conditions or moderate drought across Idaho and Utah, and even the southern and eastern half of Utah have been removed from the drought. This slide shows the sea surface temperatures and anomalies for the equatorial Pacific, which is showing that we are still in a state of El Nino and are likely seeing its peak currently or just in the last 30 to 45 days. The areas in red in the map on the left are the current sea surface temperatures, so you can see the warming areas, and also the map on the right are the sea surface temperature anomalies, which show the departure from normal. The areas in the dark reds are showing well above normal sea surface temperatures off the coast of South America, and again, this is currently indicative of our state of El Nino. El Nino, again, will most likely be at its peak currently or in the last 30 days with those warm sea surface temperatures, and it will gradually weaken as we move through the spring. However, precipitation and weather patterns will still be influenced by El Nino even during the weakening phase, especially as we go through the rest of winter and into the spring months, with again this wet and warmer area expected over the southern area of the Great Basin, as shown in the map at the bottom, with warmer and drier conditions over the northern tier of the country, which is a typical weather pattern for El Nino. If we look at the expected weather from February through May, and this map is from Predictive Services, our forecast maps, the row on the top middle portion of the screen from February on the left through May on the right shows our expected temperature patterns through the next 4 months. The areas indicated in blue, especially expanding over the southern portion of the Great Basin as we move through the next couple of months, show cooler temperatures expected in those areas, with warmer temperatures again further north. The bottom row shows expected precipitation patterns across the country as we move through the next 4 months. We'll likely see much wetter conditions across at least the southern half to two-thirds of the Great Basin through March and April, and this might start tapering off through the month of May. We may again see those drier patterns emerge over the northern portion of the Great Basin. If we look at our National Fire Potential Outlook, with these patterns in the back of our mind, we're expecting normal fire potential for the next several months across most of the West, again because of this wetter and cooler pattern in most areas. These outlooks only go through May, therefore we may see brief periods of increased fire activity still possible if we see drier weather emerge for longer periods and increased winds, especially as we move towards the spring. Again, in summary, we will likely continue to see these drought conditions continue over much of the western half of the Great Basin, however, continue to see some minor improvements as we move through the next several months. Annual and perennial fuels are in dormancy for the winter and will continue that way for the next couple of months. Strong El Nino will dominate the weather pattern through the spring, with drier and warmer areas in the north and wetter and cooler areas expected over the southern half of the Great Basin. Therefore, with these wetter conditions in place, no fire concerns are expected, at least through March and April. However, precipitation through the period will play a significant role for where fuel growth will be, for where fire potential will be, and also for the timing of the 2016 fire season, and we will continue to monitor these trends over the next couple of months. That concludes this briefing. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you for listening.